a single asteroid could be worth more than Earth's entire economy. The metal reserves in space are so vast that they could revolutionize industries, destroy monopolies, and create trillionaires overnight. But will space mining become the future of investment, or will it spark conflicts and economic chaos? Why are rare metals key? Rare metals like neodymium, palladium, and lithium power our modern world. From electric vehicles to space exploration, these resources are indispensable. But there's a problem. Earth's supply is limited, and geopolitical tensions are tightening control over these resources. Gold is often considered the king of investments, but when it comes to real-world applications, other metals are far more critical. Lithium powers electric vehicle batteries, neodymium is essential for turbines and magnets in motors, and palladium is a key element in auto catalysts and semiconductors. Over the last decade, these metals have outpaced gold in growth, with some increasing in value by over 900%. China, Russia, Australia, and the United States control most of the global supply. China, in particular, dominates the market for neodymium, lithium, and other essential rare earth elements. This monopoly gives it immense leverage in international trade. When China imposes export restrictions, industries around the world feel the impact. A real-world example of how crucial these metals are can be seen in the stock performance of MP Materials, the largest rare earth mining company in the United States. Since its IPO in 2020, the company's stock has surged by over 150%, reflecting growing investor confidence in the rare metal sector. Earth versus space mining. Mining on Earth is costly, environmentally damaging, and politically complex. Space mining could be the solution, but is it really viable? On Earth, the extraction of lithium alone consumes an astonishing 500,000 liters of water per ton. Neodymium mining generates radioactive waste. In the Amazon, over 35% of deforestation is linked to illegal mining operations. The destruction caused by terrestrial mining is undeniable. Space mining offers an alternative. There's no contamination of rivers or ecosystems. It reduces dependence on countries with weak regulations, eliminating child labor and hazardous mining conditions. The vast, untapped reserves in asteroids could provide more metals than humanity has ever extracted from Earth. The business world is already taking notice. Tesla, for example, has started sourcing lithium directly from ethical mines in the United States to reduce its environmental footprint. If space mining becomes a reality, it could completely change the landscape of the metal industry. Space mining, the next decade's revolution. Asteroids contain massive amounts of valuable metals, but how much are they really worth? Psyche 16, a metal-rich asteroid located between Mars and Jupiter, is estimated to contain more platinum, palladium, gold, and nickel than the entire global economy. If successfully mined, it could crash the prices of precious metals and revolutionize industrial supply chains. NASA and SpaceX are already planning missions to study Psyche 16. The mission, set to launch in 2026, will be one of the first serious attempts to understand the feasibility of asteroid mining. Other companies are also racing to capitalize on this opportunity. Startups such as Asteroid, Planetary Resources, and iSpace are securing funding to develop space mining technology. Asteroid, for instance, has announced plans to launch its first mission in 2025 to test asteroid mining technology in orbit. Investors are taking note. Exchange-traded funds, ETFs, focused on rare metals and space technology have shown strong returns in the past 5 years. Funds such as REMX, LIT, and ARKX have outperformed traditional markets, reflecting growing confidence in this sector. How to invest in space mining? Want to invest in the space mining revolution? Here are some options. One way to gain exposure is through ETFs that focus on rare metals, space exploration, and future technologies. The Global Rare Metals ETF, REMX, has delivered a 170% return over 5 years. The Lithium Industry ETF, LIT, has grown by 280% in the same period. The ARKX Space Exploration ETF, which includes companies like SpaceX and Rocket Lab, has seen a 90% increase. Another approach is to invest directly in companies that are developing space mining technology. Rocket Lab, for example, has seen its stock surge by 250% in 3 years due to increased demand for space-related technologies. Regulations. Who controls space metals? Who owns the wealth in space? The answer is more complicated than you think. The Outer Space Treaty, signed by 112 countries in 1967, prohibits any nation from claiming sovereignty over celestial bodies. However, the treaty does not explicitly prevent private companies from mining resources. In 2015, the United States passed the Space Competitiveness Act, allowing American companies to extract and own space resources. Luxembourg followed suit in 2017, creating one of the most attractive legal environments for space mining startups. As a result, Luxembourg has become a hub for space mining investments, with over 50 startups now operating under its flexible regulatory framework. The economic impact of space mining. If space mining becomes viable, it could completely reshape the global economy. But what would that actually look like? Today, rare metals are scarce and expensive because of the difficulty of extracting them on Earth. This scarcity has driven up their prices, creating an industry worth hundreds of billions of dollars. If space mining suddenly floods the market with cheap, abundant metals, it could destabilize entire industries. For example, platinum is currently one of the most valuable metals on Earth, used in everything from jewelry to industrial catalysts. A kilogram of platinum costs around $30,000 today. If massive reserves of platinum are mined from asteroids and brought back to Earth, its price could drop dramatically. That would be great for manufacturers, but devastating for investors who have staked their fortunes on platinum's scarcity. Historically, sudden resource booms have led to economic turmoil. In the 19th century, the California gold rush led to both massive fortunes and catastrophic market collapses. If space mining succeeds, the global economy could experience a similar roller coaster. Some experts believe that the first trillionaires will come from space mining, but others warn that oversupply could devalue rare metals so much that entire sectors could collapse. This raises an important question. Should there be limits on how much metal can be brought to Earth at once? The technology behind space mining. Extracting metals from asteroids is not as simple as setting up a mine on Earth. Space mining requires advanced robotics, AI-driven automation, and new propulsion technologies to make the process viable. Most asteroid mining missions will use robotic spacecraft equipped with drills, laser-based extractors, and magnetic separators. These machines will be designed to operate autonomously, using AI to make real-time adjustments based on asteroid conditions. One of the most promising technologies is optical mining, a process that uses concentrated sunlight to break apart asteroid materials. This method eliminates the need for complex mechanical drilling systems, reducing weight and increasing efficiency. Another critical challenge is transporting the mined materials back to Earth or utilizing them in space. Some companies are exploring the idea of in-space refining, where extracted metals would be processed and used in orbital construction rather than being brought back to Earth. This could revolutionize space exploration, allowing future spacecraft to be built using space-derived materials instead of launching heavy payloads from Earth. Companies leading the space mining revolution. Several companies are leading the charge to turn space mining into reality. Let's take a closer look at some of the biggest players. Astroforge is one of the most ambitious space mining startups. It has already raised millions of dollars to develop asteroid mining technology, with its first test mission scheduled for 2025. The company's goal is to demonstrate the feasibility of extracting precious metals from near-Earth asteroids. Planetary Resources, another pioneer in the space mining industry, has focused on developing spacecraft designed to identify and extract resources from asteroids. Although it was acquired by blockchain company Consensys in 2018, its technology is still being developed for future applications. Japan's iSpace is taking a different approach by focusing on lunar resource extraction. The company is developing technology to mine the moon's surface for metals and water, which could be used to support future space missions. NASA and private space companies like SpaceX are also playing a major role in this emerging industry. NASA's upcoming Psyche mission aims to explore a metal-rich asteroid, providing valuable data that could pave the way for commercial mining. Geopolitical risks and space resource wars. With trillions of dollars in resources floating in space, competition is inevitable. Could space mining lead to the next global conflict? Historically, nations have fought over resources on Earth. Wars have been waged over gold, oil, and rare metals. As space mining becomes a reality, it's possible that nations will compete for control over asteroid-rich regions. Currently, international treaties prevent any country from claiming ownership of celestial bodies. However, as more private companies enter the space mining industry, legal disputes are likely to arise. Who gets to profit from these resources? Will governments intervene to regulate or tax space mining operations? Some experts predict that space militarization will become a growing concern. If corporations and countries start competing for the same asteroid, disputes could escalate into conflicts. Imagine a scenario where multiple mining missions are sent to the same asteroid, each trying to extract the most valuable metals before the others. This could lead to a new kind of space race, where governments form alliances with private companies to secure exclusive mining rights. The United States, China, and Russia are already heavily investing in space infrastructure. If space resources become as valuable as predicted, we could see a future where space mining rights become a major source of geopolitical tension. Space mining and future human colonization. Space mining is about more than just profit. It could be the key to human expansion beyond Earth. One of the biggest challenges in space exploration is the cost of launching materials from Earth. If we can mine and refine metals in space, future space stations and colonies could be built entirely using off-world resources. For example, the Moon has significant deposits of helium-3, a rare isotope that could be used for clean nuclear fusion. If mined successfully, it could provide nearly limitless energy for future civilizations. Asteroids are another key resource. Some are rich in water, which can be broken down into hydrogen and oxygen to create rocket fuel. This could turn asteroid mining sites into refueling stations for deep space missions. NASA, SpaceX, and Blue Origin are already exploring ways to integrate space-mined resources into their long-term plans. The Artemis program, which aims to establish a permanent human presence on the Moon, will likely depend on lunar mining to sustain future operations. Futuristic scenarios for space mining. What will space mining look like in the next few decades? There are several possible futures, and each comes with its own set of challenges and opportunities. One scenario is an economic boom driven by space mining. If asteroid resources are successfully extracted, the world could see a massive drop in the price of rare metals, making advanced technology cheaper and more accessible. Space mining companies could become trillion-dollar enterprises, and the first space-based industries could emerge, producing materials for lunar colonies and deep space missions. Another possibility is a catastrophic collapse. If space mining leads to an oversupply of rare metals, prices could plummet, bankrupting companies that invested heavily in extraction technology. A speculative bubble similar to the 2022 lithium crash could form and then burst, causing massive financial losses for investors and slowing down technological progress. A more concerning scenario involves geopolitical conflicts over space resources. If the most valuable asteroids are claimed by a handful of companies or nations, disputes could arise over mining rights. Countries might deploy military assets to protect their interests in space, leading to political standoffs or even armed conflicts over high-value space resources. Elon Musk once predicted that the first space war won't be about colonization. It will be about resource control. As space mining advances, new treaties and regulations will need to be established to prevent monopolization and ensure that space resources benefit humanity as a whole. MP materials, stock forecast, and rare metals growth. Rare metals are at the heart of the technological revolution, from EV batteries to AI chips. Investors looking for high-growth opportunities are eyeing MP materials, NYSE MP, the largest rare earth miner in the US, which has seen its stock price soar by 400% in just 3 years. 2021 MP materials, stock price $10. 2024 MP material stock price $50 plus projected growth. Analysts predict further surges as global demand for neodymium, lithium, and palladium accelerates. In 2023, lithium prices surged 442%, and geopolitical conflicts caused rare earth stock prices to spike. Companies like Tesla and Apple are securing their own supply chains to avoid shortages, proving that rare metals are the new oil. Investment insight. If you had invested $1,000 in MP Materials in 2021, today it would be worth over $5,000. Top investment opportunities in rare metals and space mining. For those looking to invest in the future of rare metals and space mining, here are 3 key strategies. Mining company stocks. Investors looking for strong growth in rare metals have seen impressive returns over the past 3 years. MP Materials, traded on the New York Stock Exchange, has skyrocketed by 400%, making it a dominant player in the rare earth mining sector. Over in Australia, Lynas Rare Earths has surged 230%, solidifying its position as a key supplier outside of China. Meanwhile, Albemarle, one of the world's largest lithium producers, has climbed 150%, benefiting from the rising demand for EV batteries and energy storage solutions. Tesla and Apple are aggressively securing their own lithium and rare earth supplies to avoid reliance on China. ETFs, exchange-traded funds, focused on rare metals. REMX, VanEck Rare Earth Oil Strategic Metals, ETF, focuses on mining companies involved in rare earth extraction. Growth, plus 80% in 5 years, outperforming S&P 500. LIT, Global X Lithium and Battery Tech ETF, specializes in lithium and battery technology stocks. Growth, plus 280% in 5 years. Space mining startups and future ventures. With space mining set to launch in the next decade, investors are keeping a close watch on Asteroid, launching its first space mining mission in 2025. iSpace, Japan, extracting metals from the moon for future space colonies. NASA's Psyche mission, 2026, exploring a metal-rich asteroid valued at $10 quintillion. Key fact: by 2040, asteroid mining could become a trillion-dollar industry, reshaping global economics. Geopolitical risks and the next resource war. Rare metals are not just an investment opportunity, they're a geopolitical weapon. China dominates over 70% of global rare earth processing, creating economic leverage over the US and Europe. Real-world examples of rare metal wars. 2010, China blocked rare metal exports to Japan, causing a 700% price surge. 2023, China restricted gallium and germanium exports, hitting Intel and Nvidia stocks, down 4%. 2024, the US announced a $2 billion investment in domestic rare metal mining to reduce dependence on China. Future risk. As space mining becomes a reality, will governments start claiming asteroid resources, leading to a new type of space conflict? Why this segment matters and where to place it. Why includes MP Materials stock forecast insights directly from Wallet Investor. Integrates your rare metal investment data, company growth rates, ETFs, geopolitical risks. Is space mining the future or a risk? Investors are already seeing the potential. ETFs like REMX and LIT have delivered impressive returns, reflecting the growing importance of rare earths in the global economy. Companies like MP Materials and Lynas Rare Earths are leading the charge, with their stocks surging as they expand production to meet rising demand. The future of rare earth metals is not just about mining, it's about innovation. From recycling technologies to ethical sourcing, the industry is evolving to ensure a sustainable supply chain. As the world becomes more dependent on these critical resources, the investment opportunities in this sector are only expected to grow. So, what do you think? Will rare earth metals continue to dominate the tech revolution, or will new discoveries and technologies shift the balance? Let us know in the comments below.